There's a tennis bet that hits 88% of the time and almost nobody talks about it. It's not a parlay, it's not a prediction on who's going to win the match. It's one of the most overlooked bets on the entire board. And my tracker shows it's one of the most consistent money makers across the sport of tennis. I'm going to show you the exact system step by step with real numbers, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to find this bet yourself in about 10 minutes. So let's get into it. Most sports bettors in the US completely ignore tennis. They watch tennis once or twice a year during the Grand Slam, and then they forget it exists in the other 10 months. And that's exactly why there's money in it. Here's what they're missing. Tennis has matches happening every single day across the ATP, WTA, Challenger Tour, ITF, across 4 or 5 time zones. On any given Tuesday, you've got 30 to 50 matches available to bet on. That's more daily volume than the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB combined during their seasons. And the bet type that we're looking at today is the heavy favorite on the money line in straight sets. Specifically, when a significantly better player is playing someone ranked much lower than them. When this matches up, the favorite wins in straight sets at a rate that shocks most casual bettors. Now you might be thinking, that sounds too obvious. The favorite usually wins. And you're right, but there's a massive difference between the favorite winning and the favorite winning in straight sets. The sportsbooks price these two very differently, and the gap is where the edge lives. The system I'm about to show you identifies the specific matchup where straight set wins are so likely that even at the heavy favorite odds, you're getting a positive edge. So here's the 4 criteria that I use to find tennis straight set bets with a verified edge. Every step narrows the field. By the time all 4 line up, you've got a bet that hits 88% based on my track data. So let's go ahead and start with step 1 is a ranking gap of at least 50 spots. Now this right here is going to be your baseline filter. The favorite needs to be ranked at least 50 spots higher than the underdog. So a number 15 player versus a number 75 player passes. A number 10 player versus a number 40 player does not. Now you might ask, why 50 spots? Because anything closer than that introduces too much variance. Tennis players ranked within 30 or 40 spots of each other have very similar skill levels, and upsets are common. But once you get a 50 plus spot gap, you're looking at a genuine skill difference that shows up in the match. Now, where do you find these rankings? The ATP and the WTA websites list current rankings, so you could just visit them. You can also use any tennis stat site. It takes 10 seconds per match to find them. Now let's go ahead and get to step 2. Step 2 is going to be, they have to be a master of the surface that they're playing on. Now this is where most bettors miss. Tennis is played on 3 different surfaces: hard court, clay, and grass. Each surface rewards completely different playing styles. A player who dominates on clay might be mediocre on grass, and a player who's elite on hard courts might struggle on clay. You want to see the favorite winning at least 70% of their career matches on the specific surface being played. If the match is on clay, look up their clay court win percentage. If it's on grass, then check their grass record. Some sites that show this breakdown are Tennis Abstract, Flash Score, and Tennis Explorer. The surface splits are usually displayed on the player's profile page. If the favorite is below 70% on that surface, then we're going to skip the match. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. 70% and above is a check. 70% and below is going to be a pass. The ranking gap doesn't matter if they're playing outside their element. Now let's go ahead and get to step 3 here. Step 3 is going to be recent form check. Rankings are lagging indicators. A player ranked 15 might be in terrible form right now and actually playing like a player that's ranked 50. Recent form tells you what exactly is happening in their game this week. I want to see the favorite having won at least 8 of their last 10 matches. Let's write that down. 8 out of their last 10 need to be wins, because that tells me that they're in a winning rhythm. Their confidence is high and they're physically healthy. If a top player has lost 4 of their last 10, something is off, whether it be injury, fatigue, or a mental slump. Whatever the reason, the data is telling you to skip it. Now you can find recent match results on any tennis site. Again, this takes maybe another 20 seconds per match to come up with. Now let's go ahead and get to step number 4. Step 4, the odds must create an edge. Now this is where the math matters. Based on my tracking, matches that pass all 3 of the previous filters that I gave you, they win at about an 88% clip. Now 88% true probability translates to implied odds of around minus 730. But here's the thing, the sportsbooks don't know which matches passed your filters. They just see top 20 player versus bottom 100 player, and They price the straight set market based on the general probability. Most sportsbooks price these matchups at minus 300 to minus 500. Now that's an implied probability of about 75 to 83%. Now if we do the math there, what do we got? We got a gap of a decent amount here that gives us a positive edge, right? Because if the true probability is 88% and the implied probability is 80%, then you've got an 8% edge. Now that right there is the bet that is going to win 88% of the time. Now I want to show you guys my AI system that I've been working on that could pop out the results for this in literally seconds. So let's jump into the computer so that way I can show you. So let's go ahead and jump into now what's going to change the sports betting industry forever. I want you guys to take a look at my AI system now that I have came up with, okay, that has pretty much my brain. My brain is put into this AI system, and you could ask it any question that you want. So let's go through the tennis, for example. I just typed in, give me a tennis matchup that has at least a gap of 50 in the rankings. So as we can see here, pulled up the Madrid Open, which is currently going on, and we got our matchup right here, okay? Our matchup between, I'm going to botch these names, so I don't really want to go through that. Marta versus Caddy, all right, or Katie, however you want to say it. So let's just take a look at the stats that we have here. All right, the fourth round clash in Madrid presents a substantial ranking gap of 53 spots between Marta, who has been one of the most consistent performers of the 2026 season, while Katie is battling to prove her variety can translate to success on the quicker clay of Madrid. So we can see the ranking right here. All right, Marta's 23rd, Katie is 76. Year-to-date record. So recent form here for Marta is pretty good, 14-4, right? As for McNally here, not really, 12-10. That's not too good. All right, so we got our gap here. Now look, this literally takes you seconds to type in. So all the information I just gave you in this video of all the steps, you can literally just type it in here and the answer will just spit out right to you. Okay, so first off, we got our gap here, right? Now let's see, how does she perform on that clay surface? What's her stats here? All right, we're going to look at Marta. And all I typed in was, give me the clay surface stats in recent form for her. So if we go ahead and take a look here, her clay record in 2026, 2-0. So perfect. All right, that's exactly what we want. That passes one of our checks. All right, and then recent form, she's been dominant. All right, she's been absolutely dominant in recent form. So like I said though, recent form on the certain surface, okay? Her certain surface being clay, she's been dominant on clay. All right, so that is what we're looking for, and that's our key here. Okay, so far we fit through everything. So what's our last thing that we could do here? Now watch how cool this is, all right? Because we could just go ahead and type in here if this is going to be a good bet or not. All right, so we're just going to type in is, like I said, I'll butcher her name. Is Marta a good bet to win this matchup in straight sets? And look, now what are we going to do? We're going to get an answer here. Is this a good bet or not? Is this going to make sense? So as we can see, we're getting a little right up here. Look how easy this was. This is, I'm telling you guys, this is going to absolutely change the way that you look at sports betting in any sport. All right, so what we get here is a full write-up if this is going to be a good bet or not. All right, so as we go to recommendations here, we see her to win in straight sets is pretty much a good bet through all of our checks. It even gives you a couple alternate things to look at as well. All right, but the analysis here. Marta has not dropped a set in Madrid, winning 60% of her total points. McNally's serve is vulnerable. She has been broken 7 times in the tournament already. Marta's 65% breakpoint conversion rate suggests she will capitalize on the limited opportunities McNally provides. Gives you an edge. Look at the edge. We got an edge of 18.4% here. Okay, this is based off of Marta's 8-0 clay record versus implied probability. All this information you literally get click of a button. All right, it's the coolest thing literally that's going to be in the sports betting industry here, and this is going to transition you into winning so many more of your sports bets. Now, if you guys want access to this, make sure you guys click the link in the description. It's very important, all right, because you should never make another bet without putting this into an AI system to know if you're making the correct bet or not. That way, take the human error out of the equation, and instead you'll know exactly if you're making the correct bet before you actually do it. And that's the strategy for winning 88% of your bets on tennis. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.